Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh. This is the first time I'm trying a dual stream in portrait and landscape, so I'm very curious if it's gonna work out or not. Let's see if I'm just kind of testing to see if well, it doesn't look like TikTok's getting a feed right now from the looks of things. I don't think. We'll see. No, it just says live will begin shortly, so that one's not working. Let's see. YouTube. I see normal YouTube. So hey, there we go. You know what? We'll call it a win. We'll call it a win. So Paradigm TV says we're doing it live. That is correct. We are doing it live. What is going on? Welcome everybody. So good to see you. Hope you're all doing amazing. There's some news to talk about. We're gonna chat for a while about Mario Tennis Fever. I see Steak is here. So I'm gonna kind of mix up the way these shows like usually it's like I'm really just like into the articles. I want to spend a little bit more time like chatting. So like we'll have a topic from the article, but then we can discuss it a little bit and get a little bit more feedback from chat. So get ready, you guys. Get ready to get involved. And it'll be a good time. So there's a lot to talk about tonight. So um, Paradigm TV says, I haven't seen much about Fever except it was at Costco today. Oh, I bet you Costco's probably the best place, one of the best places to pick it up. So that's probably how much was it at Costco? I picked it up at my physical, I picked it up at GameStop because of my pro membership. So uh Steak over on Twitch as well. Let's go. Let's go. Um Yeah, so I got like $5 off that way. Another good way is, set up a Target Red card where it just ties to your bank account, and you also get a discount that way, so, say it was like 64, yeah, I think Costco is like if you don't have any kinda coupons or whatever, is one of, if not the best spot to get games just to save a little bit, so it's always good. Saving a little bit of money here and there is always good, especially with the price of games. So, uh, I'll give you guys a quick little spoiler. I'm loving Fever. I think it's really, really fun. Like, I'm I'm really, really enjoying it. So, Darius Wolf Gamer says, "I hope the next Nintendo Switch 2 game is Tekken 8 or the Mass Effect Legendary Edition." Such great games. Like, I'd be all over both of those, no question. No question. So, um, well, since I see we got questions about Aces, or I'm sorry, I saw Aces in chat there. Paradigm asked, how does it compare to Aces? Let's talk about Mario Tennis Fever first. All right. So I've probably spent, uh, I want to say probably a good 3+ hours so far. A good 3+ hours into Fever. And Uh, so I'm gonna give it to you guys straight. I'm gonna give you the the positive and the negative, okay? I like Ace's gameplay better. I do. But that's only because like I loved being able to use the right stick to like flip through the air and get the ball, and I still find myself doing that. I played a lot of Aces. I put a lot of time in Ace. That being said, because I like Aces better doesn't mean Fever isn't incredible. And Fever does so much more for like the right way, okay? Because I recognize that movement being able to do that flip and connect with the ball, like I don't think it connected with people. I think it was a little bit too difficult. So it added to the overall skill gap. And so I think that was a bit of one of the negatives essentially of Aces. That's really it. Like, as far as, like, my comparison with Aces, I think I think Fever does everything else better. everything else better. The fever rackets. Let's talk about these things. So fun. The implementation, absolute chef's kiss in my opinion. Just the chef's kiss. They set it up to where if the ball doesn't hit the other court and it gets sent back over, you you can essentially have it backfire on you. And it's that's brilliant. It's so brilliant because it encourages aggressive gameplay. And so it's very it can get very competitive, very sweaty, and I love that aspect of it, right? I mean, that's I'm all about it. So I think that is super super fun. And all the different rackets just seem very well thought out. It's like I honestly compare it to the fact that they got 24 players to work in Mario Kart World took a lot of balancing, right? A lot of balancing. And they seem to kind of knock it out of the park. And I feel like this game is no different. A lot of balancing went into getting all these rackets to work. And they've also implemented some other areas of like where of strategy, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna try to target, like say I'm playing doubles, I'm gonna try to target one particular character on the other side so that their hit points go down and then they get knocked out. Now it's 2-on-1. And so that adds a whole nother level, which then to me is like, okay, well, maybe going into doubles, if I'm taking it super serious, maybe somebody brings the shadow racket, right? Or maybe you both use it. But that then like, so if somebody does get knocked out, at least you can, have a second player essentially show back up, but you're not going to be, I don't know how much HP you're going to be taking out at that point, right? So there's just this kind of give and take and a lot of strategy that goes into it. So I want to say what's up. Hernandez is here. What's going on? RX Gaming, Midfi Senpai. What up? What up? Good to see you. And so uh it like I love that aspect of it because it's like, okay, what kind of racket do I want to take in? What is my game plan? And so much fun to be had there. Now, where I do feel like there was a bit of a miss, there is game share locally, but not game share in game chat. I wish that was there. Just because I tried to fire it up on stream yesterday to let people play the game for the first time, and it's not. I thought it was an option, and it wasn't. And so that was a bit of a bummer because I was hoping that it would be a good way to let people test the game out, see if it's for them, if they liked it, but it's not. Game share local works flawless. Yesterday, uh, I had Jasmine and the two littles had their switches. She had her switch. Game shared. We all four played doubles. Talking from a 4-year-old and 11-year-old, and the gameplay is designed good enough that even like a younger gamer like that, like a younger, 4 years old, still able to have fun. Like, still able to have a good time. And except for when she was like if she started losing. Now, granted, 4 years old, they're going to be wandering around. You got to kind of, you got to corral them in, whatever. But you could still play this with younger kids, and it can be fun. And I think, uh, you know, even doing like doubles with them, like against the computer, whatever the case may be, it can be fun. So I love that aspect. Okay. Here's the other thing that I absolutely loved, and I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it: motion controls. It feels like Wii Sports. Okay. Aces did not feel like Wii Sports. It felt funky and like kind of just like something that was a bit of an afterthought. This, it's not quite as crazy as Wii Sports. You know how you could just like shake the Wii remote and the racket would go crazy? It's not quite that, but I felt like I was doing my the different swings and the ball was moving differently depending on how I swinged or how I swung the racket. Swinged. What kind of a word is that? You guys make sure to leave a comment telling me to stop saying words like swinged. Um, and I was like, "Yo, this is so good." Like loved I love yeah, Midfi Senpai says motion controls in this economy. Yo, so good. Like so good. I was honestly surprised at how well it controlled with motion controls. Then you can tack on the tower for challenges, the tournaments that are in the game, the adventure mode, which is like I don't really care about adventure mode. It's not something that I'm like, this needs to be amazing or the game's gonna get a lesser score. No, no. The thing they're doing a lot of things right. You play, X amount of matches, you unlock different rackets, different characters. All that stuff is a win in my eyes. Okay. Give me a reason to keep playing. Dangle that carrot. Put some unlockables behind, matches. There's achievements in the game. You play 100 matches, you get an achievement. Like I love that kind of stuff. That keeps you engaged. It keeps you playing. And so I feel like there's a ton of characters. There's a ton of rackets. The gameplay is, yeah, it's a little bit slower. Somebody said, Paradigm TV says, I heard it's a little slower paced than Aces, but it works well once special abilities start flying. Yeah, um, you don't really notice the pace once you get into it. And unless you were like super hardcore into Aces and that was like all you were playing, then yeah, maybe you're gonna pick something up. But I mean, I think the majority of people are gonna pick it up, have a good time with it. The pace, it still feels very arcadey, but it just feels dialed. It feels very dialed so that it can be it can be really sweaty if you want it to be, but you can also invite people over that don't typically play or haven't played it, and everybody can still be somewhat competitive, right? And I think that's where these multiplayer games honestly shine. It's where Mario Kart really doesn't shine. Like if you know shortcuts in that game that other people don't do or aren't not capable of doing, it's not something they practice all the time. You blow them out of the water. Nobody wants to play it. That's this doesn't matter the skill level. You can pick it up and play. It's like a Mario Party style thing. Like it for a party game. It is absolutely on point. I do highly recommend it. Like it, I'm having a good time with it. Like a really good time. But again, keep in mind, I loved Aces. I thought it was great. So uh, let's see. Paradigm TV says I saw Redditors already crying about the game length, and I'm like, multiplayer is a big part of this game. Yeah, I don't get these games for the story, right? I don't get these games for the adventure mode. Like it's fun, it's tacked on, it's a 3-hour tutorial. Great. I don't really care. The most important thing for me is give me a reason to jump into multiplayer. The very first thing I did when I got this game was play ranked. I jumped into ranked immediately and just wanted to see what it was like. And I had a ton of fun with it. Like a ton of fun with it. I won some, I lost some, and it was like, I'm just gonna get I'm just gonna I just want to play. And so I think Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, we're gonna do some Mario Tennis Aces. So if you guys want to get some games, gonna be on Twitch, twitch.tv/n64josh. We'll play some Mario Aces Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern. So, Midfi Senpai says studies have shown that slower games are actually better for your mental health. Everybody wants to doom scroll themselves to death. No one wants to smell the roses. There you go. It's so much more accessible and everybody can have fun. And that's super important. Everybody can get a chance to win, and that's also important. So, Russ Belk said the story of Mario Tennis isn't why I bought it. Just playing through Adventure just to say I did. There you go. And we're talking about the new tennis game, Russ. Yeah, talking about the new Mario Tennis Fever. So yeah, overall, like I'm I I'm very hopeful for the future of sports franchises when it comes to Nintendo because of how well they like just what was implemented within Mario Tennis Fever. You know, I don't know how or what they necessarily do. I just haven't given it a ton of thought on what they do for something like Strikers. But I mean, Strikers needed to have that carrot on the stick to have that like let me play 100 matches and unlock like some like gold aesthetics or something that like you're only going to get if you put the effort into. And it lacked. It was great gameplay without the content. But Strikers also had that the skill thing. They went deep on some of the Switch 1 sports titles with Aces and Strikers. I don't feel like Super Rush was really all that deep and the running part and golf and like essentially tackling each other, whatever. Like I didn't even really care for that aspect of it. I just wanted to play golf because that's what I've always enjoyed doing when it comes to those games. And so, but I think the other thing to keep in mind is like modern gamers are used to that carrot on the stick. I grew up with the Mario sports games, so I know what to expect, right? But somebody 10 years younger than me, 15 years younger than me, 20 years younger than me, and they're like, "What like where's the season pass? Where's the battle pass? What am I unlocking with all this?" So, and yeah, Russ said it. If Nintendo would do some kind of seasonal pass or something and unlocking things, it would have more folks coming back. Exactly. And it doesn't have to be paid. I think a lot of times people hear the term, season pass, um, battle pass, whatever. Platoon has this. They have seasons and they are not you do not have to pay for them. Is it more work for development? Sure. But if we're going to be paying more for these games, $70, $80, then stuff more in there. Fever, I'm fairly certain there's a fair amount of reused assets from the last game. And so, if there's and they made some of the better decisions of like, play 34 matches and you unlock the bullet racket. Like you're probably going to unlock the majority of stuff in the weekend. I think the amount of like messages I saw in chat or posts on X or just on Discord of people being like, I unlocked all the characters, I unlocked all the rackets. Like it's not uh it's not going to take you a ton of time, but it's got its hooks in me. It has its hooks in me. I haven't unlocked all the rackets yet. I haven't unlocked all the characters. I've been mostly doing multiplayer stuff. I've done some of the adventure stuff. I'm on the ship. We did some of it on stream yesterday. And and like I said, it's fine, but it's like you're literally just trying to tell some kind of a goofy story and then get back to the tennis court, right? Like it does not feel necessary. I think what people are after and like what IGN compared it to is they're like, you've got a game like Golf Story where you literally can wander around, pick up and play a match against anybody. You can just start hitting golf balls whenever you want. But I just don't know that that's the direction that Nintendo is going to take things. And I don't know that it's fair reviewing these games and saying, well, it should be like this indie. That's the only way that sports games are good. I just don't know that that's the case. You also have like in other sports games, look at Madden and the basketball games, stuff like that. You've got y- you've got like, all these monetization strategies of like, oh, buy more cards and unlock more characters and have the ultimate team and all this stuff and like this this feels like a pretty complete package for $70. Is 70 a little bit high? I mean, I think personally, again, it's just my opinion, but I think personally, the sports titles, should come in at like $49.99. I think would be the ideal sweet spot for these games to get more copies moved because it's a party game. If it was $50, I would be more apt to like get copies for my daughters and like make this another regular multiplayer game that we would play often. But to have to drop another $140, it it's a bit of a tough pill to swallow because like it is going to be fun to play. And again, I was hoping that there was going to be the game chat game share because that would allow me to play with them, periodically when they feel like it and not have to do such an investment. So I I I mean, Nintendo's going to continue testing the waters with pricing until they see that like the market's not sustaining it, and then we're going to see then they're going to have to come up with they're going to have to make some changes. Now, that being said, Fever could be uh Fever could be one of those games that becomes a pack-in around the holidays. Aces did for Walmart. You could get an Aces bundle, the year like, I think it came out at around the same time, and then by that holiday, it was a bundle at Walmart. So and I think it was, like, Aces and 1-2 Switch were bundled together. You guys could fact check that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And so there is some they are giving themselves room to put games on sale and that kinda stuff, but a lot of the discourse around this game is price, right? Paradigm right here saying, "I wish mainline games would be 70 and spinoffs would be like 50." Midfi Senpai says, "I refuse to pay 70 for any game. My backlog is enough to hold me over until a sale." Midfi also says, "Remember in the cartridge days, sports and movies titles had a $10 license tax. Today they are discounted. LOL." Right, and I mean, a lot like, you know, I bought Madden, which was fine. It paid for itself through with the YouTube content that I made, but it's already on Game Pass. Like, the moment the football season ends, Madden hits Game Pass. So, it's like and they've got me next year because my Seahawks won, but yeah, a lot of, like a lot of times the sports games would, like, end up in the bargain bin and that kinda thing. So, I'm curious on how the sales numbers are gonna be, like, I'm trying to base like what how I think the game is doing on like how many people it shows in the different ranked modes and like but how many people have jumped in, like we don't know that those numbers for sure. So just a bit up in the air on on how well it's doing. And I hope it's doing well, of course, but if it's one of those games that like Nintendo has to do that variable pricing to get more people in, I hope they do it. I do hope they do it because I think a game like this would probably be more apt to fly off the shelves at, even the 59.99 price point versus the 69.99. I just it's as a huge fan of tennis games, like, it was a no-brainer for me. I'm like, "That's fine," you know, we're already having a great time with it, but I saw people in chat that are like, "I just don't think this would have a long enough tail for me to justify that price point." And so I completely get that. I understand completely. So, well, guys, I have all of the news set up, but I'm fighting this cold and my throat is at its wit's end. So I'm gonna hit all of this news tomorrow. There's a lot of cool stuff here, but I am so close to having like a coughing spell, and I really don't want to do it live. So, or have it go out on the air. So I'm just gonna call it right there. But I appreciate you guys hanging out, and um, for all the conversation. A quick couple more chats. Real quick, Paradigm TV says 70 creeps so close to that $100 point mentally. It does. It does. And early days of the Switch. like we were getting 2 games for $100 at like Best Buy or Amazon. So Wes Brown says, "Joshua, what up, homie? Game is a little expensive for what you get." Yeah, it is. I would say that is true. You know, again, I don't feel like I'm not. Um, I don't feel like I'm not getting my money's worth from it, but I'm just seeing a lot of the just based on the conversations. There's not a lot of people that are just pulling the trigger on this one on a whim. And I feel like there would be more people doing that if it was um, just a bit cheaper. Because it falls into that party game category that, you know, like, it may not be played every day, but you get a few people to come over or you fire it up with the kids, that kinda stuff. There is a lot of value there. I really do think that. But that, again, single player experience, not really winning a lot of people over. And I get it, some people want to go back to like Mario Tennis on Game Boy or Mario Golf on Game Boy that was like a essentially a full-on RPG. I don't like all it is to me is you're just sprinkling story with tennis matches. And so I don't know that you're going to find some riveting story based around based around tennis. Like I couldn't tell you what any of the RPG elements from the Mario Golf on the Game Boy were. I played through that game so that I could get my character over onto the Nintendo 64. So I uh yeah, these are party games. And I think I said it on stream yesterday or maybe one of the other shows, but like I almost feel like where these games would really, really win is if they do the sports collections like they did on 3DS. Throw tennis, golf, strikers. I mean, what did the sports game on the 3DS had? Horseback racing, which was pretty funny. Uh, I believe tennis, I believe golf, I believe soccer, and I believe baseball. So you had those 5 games, right? And you have a few people over, you jump online with people, like, that's a lot of variety, and you're just playing the multiplayer stuff. And sometimes I wonder if that's a little bit better direction, but they were also very dumbed down. And so, it's just trying to hit that sweet spot. It is trying to hit that sweet spot, which, we'll just see how the sales are and what they're gonna end up, what what they have to do to try to get more of those copies out there. The nice thing is everything is so high that they can start, do I believe that this could be the generation that the Nintendo Selects come back? You better believe it. And I know we're not even a year into it yet, but I think when you have games at that price point and then you come in and say, "Hey, we're going to drop these 20 to $30 2 to 3 years into the 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 life of the system." I think you will start to see more of these games, like almost like a second life for a lot of them. So, um, yeah, Paradigm TV says it'll be interesting to see the sales on it, no doubt. Rust Belt Kid says, "Heck, I just spent $50 for 6 tacos for my wife and I for dinner, and that only gave me about 10 minutes of satisfaction compared to a $70 video game." Not the 10 minutes of taco love. I love it. That's great. Midfi says, "So it's Garbage Story with sports activity mixed in. Sounds like a late night movie I watched recently." Here we go. Here we go. Steak says Nintendo doesn't give discounts on their games. I mean, you're not wrong. As of right now, we saw no selects. The only discounts we were seeing is on digital through the vouchers. Those are now gone, right? Those are now gone. But uh, and again, it's more about like just what I feel like my pulse is on the community, even with just in our community or kind of watching Twitter and everything else. Like and I'm not talking about the vocal minority, right? Like people just complaining for no like just for the sake of complaining, but like people that would normally throw their money at Nintendo with no question are questioning. And so I like I get it. I get it. And so it may be the generation that they lose that luxury. of not being able to discount their games. Because and again, I've mentioned this many times, but Amazon, Best Buy, they were fighting for those dollars. Walmart, you could get the majority of your Switch One games when it came out at for $50 a pop. And so that that made picking stuff up a little bit just a little bit easier. So Steak said there was finally discounts on Odyssey within the last year or two, and it's been out how long? Yeah, no question. But I mean, and what's crazy though is look at the games that still sell, that are still selling. Like I think Odyssey is still selling relatively well. Animal Crossing is still selling well at its price point. Uh New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, like that thing like flew off the shelves after the Mario movie. You know, I'm curious on where Wonder's sitting, but we're coming up on the 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 Switch 2 edition of Wonder. The game's $80. If you buy the Switch 2 edition for the first time, it's $80. Same as Kirby and the Forgotten Land with the Starcross Worlds. You're looking at an $80 price tag. And don't get me wrong, I mean there is development costs that go into that, but I think there's sticker shock for a lot of people. And seeing that a game that is how many years old is still being charged at a premium price, like they can only flex those brand muscles for so long. And oh, what's the full name of the game? Hang on. Super Mario Brothers Wonder Switch 2 edition. Welcome to Bell Bell Park or something like that. I think I'm close. So it's yeah, it's a long one. But I think they're kind of testing the waters and they're gonna see how it goes, right? And there's a lot of rumblings on the horizon of the Switch 2 having to have a price increase. They keep dancing around it because they don't want to say it. It will affect stocks, but there's a lot of conversation around because of everything that AI is doing right now. That what's gonna that the switch of the price too is gonna end up going up. So that is going to do it for me tonight, you guys. I appreciate you all so much. I do want to do these shows. They're going to be longer in the evenings. I want to try to go for 60 minutes, but my throat can't handle it tonight. So once I get back on the mend and I'm feeling better, we are definitely going to keep it going. But the shows are going to be more like this, like very chat focused. We'll get into the news, but like I want to just keep the dialogue going with you guys and while we kind of jump into each topic. So there's going to be a lot to talk about for tomorrow night. I'm excited about it, and it'll be good. But I gotta rest my voice just a little bit. So appreciate you all so very much, and we will see you in the next one. Remember, play it loud.